I'm Dr. Amy Shah, and welcome to another episode of the Save Yourself podcast. Today, I wanted to share a very special live episode with you. So every week on the AmyMD Network, if you want to learn more, it's at AmyMDNetwork.com. I do a live show, and often it's really unscripted. It's people coming on, asking their questions. We do a lot of live coaching, which is literally like walking into a room and meeting me virtually and asking me your questions. It's often really helpful to even people who don't have the same questions, but can benefit from the advice that I give that's personalized to you. So check it out at AmyMDNetwork.com. I wanted to share this episode because I think that a lot of people are wondering, what is it like to come on live with me? And also, what's my best protein bar review? Like, what do I think of the protein bars that are out there? I went to a random Walgreens and picked up a bunch of bars, and I'm sharing it with you. So I hope you'll check it out. I hope you find value in it. And as always, thank you so much for watching, for rating, for your reviews. If you love the show, please share it with a friend. Please put a review. And I appreciate you so much. Thank you so much for your interest. How is everyone? So great to see you. So as you can see, I am not in my usual spot. I am in Orlando right now on a business trip. And boohoo for me, I get to go to Disney tomorrow. I'm going to be talking about protein bars today, and we're going to be taking your questions. So I know there's a bunch of new people today, and this is what we're going to be talking about. I went to Walgreens and I literally did a haul of every single protein bar they had in stock, so I could give you my unadulterated and unbiased opinion on what I think. So here's the thing. Protein bars in general are not really great for you, and I'll tell you the story and why I don't believe that they should be the mainstay of your nutrition. But first, I wanted to introduce myself, what this is for people who don't know. If you have a question or if you want to be live coached, please put in that fire icon. This is how we do it here. We come on here, I live coach people, we answer questions. So in order for our moderators like Juliana today to be able to know if you have a question or if you want to be on to live coach, you can put that into the fireside icon. Just say, I have a question, or I would like to be live coached, either one. And if it's a question, then please put your question. And that way she can queue you up and have you ready as soon as we are kind of taking a break from the protein bar review. So usually I start with a little teaching moment, or in this case, a protein bar review. And then we move into questions and coaching. I'm in Orlando right now. This is my hotel room. Boohoo. I'm in Orlando. I get to go to Disney tomorrow. But I'm also here for work, and I did a bunch of things this week that I can't wait to share with you. I'm very grateful for all of you for joining. And so I'm going to tell you the story of what happened with me and protein bars, and then I'm going to display them kind of on this chair so you can see what we're putting out here. So when I was in college, I did a semester in New York City. So I was at Cornell, and there's a program where you can go into the New York City. And I love the health food shops in New York City. There was all these cookies and cakes and crackers that were healthy, and protein bars, and especially protein bars. And I would stock up on them, and then I would feel sick to my stomach because I ate so many of them. So today, not going to stuff myself with a bunch of these, but I have tried a lot of them so that you can kind of see what I think. Here's a few. So I'm going to display them all so you can see. There's a no-cow, and I'm going to give it a DAI rating, a Dr. Amy Index. And the reason I'm doing that is because this is not based on any particular health factors. This is taking into account how good it tastes, how relatively healthy it is based on protein bars in general, and how I feel about it in general. So it's like an index of like what I think. And nobody's getting a 10 because no protein bar deserves a 10, really. It's like, these are replacements for when you can't eat healthy. It's for when It's for when you're in a rush. And what I want you to do is really know, so you don't have to waste your time with some of the very disgusting ones. And that's the point of today. So here we go. We have the RX bar. We have the Think Thin High Protein bar. We have the No Cow bar. We have the Met RX bar. We have the Power Crunch bar. We have Nature Valley now has a protein bar. That one has 10 grams of protein. And I got it because it says like no artificial this and no artificial that. So I wanted to share it with you. So I will pick each one up so you don't have to. I know they're kind of far away. And Quest, there's a Quest Hero. And I'll tell you what the difference between them. There's a Kind bar that has protein also. And there's this one, Cookified, Lenny and Larry's Cookified bar at 12 grams of protein. So we're all trying to get our protein here. So this is why I'm doing this. So back to my story. So I was in the city for a semester in the city, and I would eat these protein bars, and I would feel so sick to my stomach because a lot of them, especially at that time, had these artificial sweeteners that were extremely irritating to the stomach. And that's when I learned that eating a protein bar is like having a protein shake with a Snickers on the side. I'll say this again. Eating a protein bar is akin to eating a candy bar with protein powder on the side. So I think if I phrase it in that way, you can kind of understand like, oh, do I want to be eating a candy bar with protein on the side? Like, why wouldn't you just eat a bunch of egg whites or eggs in general and then eat chocolate? And so that's what I started to do. So then I started to get away from protein bars. But guess what? This year I started traveling again, and all of these started to get into my rotation. And so I wanted to share with you a couple of the things, my thoughts about it. Remember, if you have a question or a thought, or you want me to talk about something like sweeteners, you're concerned about dairy or non-dairy, I'd love for you to put your questions into that fire icon that's there so you can ask your question. And what we're going to do is Juliana is going to bring people up on stage when we do pause in between. Kind of, I'll go through maybe 3 or 4 protein bars, and then we'll pause, we'll take some questions, and then we'll go from there. So I wanted to be honest with you because the DAI index, the Dr. Amy index, is not a medical index. There's no such thing. Nobody really does these reviews because a lot of people feel like they only want to talk about their own brand, or they want to talk about a brand that they're sponsored by. Now, that being said, let me tell you, I have done a survey many times across my audiences, and my audiences really do feel that they would rather get free content from me and have some ad sponsorship. So that's why on social media, you'll see the occasional ad, or in my newsletter, you'll see the occasional ad. I still don't do it nearly as much as most people, but ad supported is what you guys have chosen. And that's great because I really am careful about the people that I partner with. And, but if you don't want ads, or if you're like, hey, I want to know what you think, and I don't want to hear any ads at all, then something like the Fireside Network is great for you because it's a low cost network and you get to interact with me. You get to do live coaching with me, and there's no ads. There's no like breaks where I go into a commercial, and it's just a way for you to get coaching. I really don't do one-on-one coaching anymore, except for the old people that I have in my group. So that's just an idea if you're interested in this. This is the Fireside Chat. This is just a free class of it, but there are many different topics that we cover, and we do live coaching like as if you're going to walk in and see me. And if you want the details, it's at AmyMDNetwork.com. All right, so let's get into it. Guys, tell me what your questions are in that icon so we can know, what you want to know. It looks like there is a bunch of questions, and so we'll go into those. So I know you can't see this very well, So I'm going to start with one of my favorites. The Dr. Amy index is high on this one. It's like a 7. Here's why. Quest, they're an old brand. There's a lot of newer brands, but this is what I like about them and what I don't like about them. What I like about it is that it has 12 grams of fiber. Okay. So what that means is when you eat it, you're not immediately hungry. So that analogy of the Snickers bar and the protein shake is absolutely what happens with every bar. The only difference with this one is you get a little bit of fiber, so you get a slight increase in satiation. So I actually like this one. This is what I use when I travel. The problem is if you're sensitive to whey or if you're sensitive to sweeteners, it does have sugar alcohols. The sugar alcohol that's in this one is erythritol. Not great, but we're talking about a lot of not great options. So I like it because of the 21 grams of protein, the 4 grams of net carbs, and 1 gram of sugar. That's my go-to when I'm at the airport. It's like chewy and dry, but it tastes good enough that it tastes like a little bit of a treat. Does that make sense? It's not so good that I will eat like 7 of them. Okay. So on that note, there is the no cow bar. For a while, I really did switch to the no cow bars from Quest bars because I thought, wow, this is gluten-free, this is vegan, this is soy-free. This is the same amount of protein. It's also kind of the same number of calories. This is 190 calories. This is 200 calories. The problem with this is it tastes so bad. It's very dry. It is like I was eating it, and yes, if you're starving and you have no other options, this is a bit cleaner than the Quest, but I give it like a 5. And that's because it tastes so bad that why would you even have it at this point? So those are those two. Okay, let's take these two. So a lot of you have heard of these Kind bars because at Starbucks you can get Kind bars, right? So this one has a little bit of protein. So instead of the regular Kind bars that has almost no protein, it's 200 calories and 7 grams of protein and 9 grams of sugar. And the ingredients are not great. There's definitely some additives, flavors. And because of that, I would say it's kind of like a 5 in the DAI, Dr. Amy Index. It's similar to the no cow in the sense, not because of its taste. The taste is much better, but the stats aren't great. Like you're not getting a ton of protein and there's lots of artificial ingredients. I use the regular Kind bars, not the protein ones, as kind of a dessert. It's like chocolate and nuts, and that's a little more natural. And so that's my review of the Kind 7-gram protein bar. The Power Crunch. So the Power Crunch is nice because it's a wafer, and I love that the texture is better than the Quest. The Quest has a very chewy, almost like gummy texture. This Crunch bar kind of gives you the feeling like you're eating a Kit Kat. It has that crunch to it, which is excellent. However, it's very drying. The protein content is a little bit less. It's only 13 grams of protein with 220 calories. And yeah, the ingredients are not great. The only good thing about this one is that it's sweetened with monk fruit. And I like that. I like that it has no sugar alcohol. So if you're sensitive to sugar alcohols like I am, like the stomach aches, this can be a better choice. So I would say it's a little bit better than the no cow and the Kind, but not as good as the Quest, so about a 6. So that's a 6 on the Dr. Amy Index. Juliana, let's take a question in there. So I've rated about 4 of them, and I want to hear what you have to say about. It can be about protein bars, or it can be in general about health, or it could be something that you want to get coached on, or it can be about this forum. Like, how do we do it? Do you meet every week? Yes. Do you speak for about an hour? Yes. Can you join from anywhere in the world? Yes. Look at me. I'm not home. So that is a great platform, and I love it because I get to interact with all of you one-on-one. Do you want to send up a question, guys? And then we'll get into more protein bar reviews after that.
There is one that says, will there be a summary so we don't have to remember all the valuable information?
Yes, we will be. This is recorded. And if you're part of the Fireside Network, I mean, it's so cheap. It's literally a very easy membership, and you can get access to all the recordings whenever you're free. So definitely. I see someone talking about the IQ bar. IQ bar, I would say similar to the Quest bar in terms of taste, ingredients, and my index. Terry's like, what about all the ultra processed ingredients? Yeah, I'm not saying it's a 7 at best. I would say all of these have ultra processed ingredients, almost all of them. And so I don't think there's a very amazing option here. Okay, so this one, the RX bar, is probably the cleanest ingredients because it's got dates and egg whites and cashews and almonds and chocolate and cocoa. It's got really great ingredients. But the protein content is lower. It's about 12 grams of protein. And the sugar content is on the higher side. It's like 14 grams of sugar. So that makes me feel I don't reach for it. And I hate to say that because I love the clean ingredients, but I'm not going for when I'm in the airport or if I'm traveling or if I'm at a theme park, like whatever, like tomorrow, I'm going to Disney. I'm looking to get protein. I'm looking to get my 30 grams of protein in the morning and maybe like another. So like I'm trying to get one snack that has protein. So this is why this is a little bit lower on my index because the ingredients are clean, but the protein content is not clean. All right, Cliff Kids. Cliff Kids bars, the Z bars are my kids' favorite. I couldn't find it, but these, they are literally like, they feel like it's a candy bar and they have it as such. And so I think that's okay because like this one too, it's got oats and brown rice syrup and soy crisps. And again, it's not the cleanest, but it's better than a lot of the candy out there that is colored. And I would put this is 250 grams, 250 calories and 10 grams of protein. I would rate that again as a 6. So lower, a little bit lower because the ingredients aren't amazing and the protein is kind of on the lower side. So you can see my rankings are coming from the protein content and the taste. And that's, I think, what matters to me when I'm in a rush. So this is a good contender. It's a Think Thin High Protein. I actually like these. They have 20 grams of protein. They're gluten-free. They're low GI index. They also have sugar alcohols, and they don't have a lot of fiber, which is why I still think that I like the Quest better. And the other thing I don't like about it is that it has a soy protein blend. And I typically think that soy protein blends tend to be lower quality. And so I rate this closer to a 6 or even a 5. So that's that one. Juliana, if we have any more questions, please unmute yourself and you can ask it.
Someone was asking if there is a good protein powder.
A good protein powder. Oh, that's such a tough question. Okay. So when I made the chai protein powder, so we just came out with a chai protein powder. If you haven't tried it, you should. We wanted to use microfiltered whey because microfiltered whey for most people is much more tolerable. Like for someone like me, I only eat yogurt and cottage cheese. I don't do much dairy, and microfiltered whey seems to work really well for me. So if you're picking a protein powder that's whey, I'd pick a microfiltered whey one. If you're picking a plant-based protein powder, one thing you have to make sure of is that it's third-party tested or somehow tested for heavy metals. My issue with protein powders that are plant-based is one, the taste. It's a lot more chalky for most of us. But secondly, it's very processed. Like if you take a green pea, you have to turn it into a protein. Imagine the processing that has to go into it to make it into a white powder, right? Or flavorless white powder. So I don't love, as soon as I started to eat more fermented dairy like yogurt and cottage cheese, I realized that if I had microfiltered whey, that I could tolerate that. And that is what we do. Oh, Mary, if you don't like the chai flavor, you can also mix it in coffee. Like my husband takes the chai protein and mixes it into a shake, and because he doesn't really want it to be just chai flavored, but that those cinnamon and nutmeg and whatever can mix into whatever you're making. And you can kind of mask the flavor if you want to do it that way. I am not coming out with anything new. Oh, well, I shouldn't say this. There's nothing in the works right now. And usually these things take a long time. So I'm not even sure why I picked this up, but this is a MetRx bar. It's got 32 grams of protein. So remember I talk about the 30 grams of protein in the morning. So I thought, well, maybe I should pick this one up because it actually has 30 grams of protein. But you look at the calories and it's 410 calories and 13 grams of fat. And like 25 grams of sugar. That is like a Snickers bar. I know I keep referencing Snickers. It could be Twix. It can be Kit Kat. I just use Snickers as so I don't know. I would rather you have a big bowl of proteinlicious food, and then have a chocolate bar on the side with real ingredients. You know what I mean? I'll also share with you how I eat protein bars kind of towards the end. I have a special technique. The Quest Hero bars are a little bit more lighter and a better texture than the regular Quest bars. And it has a little bit less protein and a little bit less calories. And they are, I would say, in the range of 6 to 7. The only thing I don't like about them is that they don't have as much protein. And I don't know. I don't know. I don't reach for these. The index is still kind of lower. Nature Valley has a protein bar, and so I was interested in checking it out. It's pretty good. It's got roasted peanuts, but again, it's made with soy protein isolate, and I don't love a lot of soy protein isolate. Whole soy, edamame, tofu, organic tofu. All of these things are great for you, but soy protein isolate is usually extremely, extremely processed. And so I tend to stay away from a soy protein isolate. And so even though Nature Valley is very famous for its granola bars, and they're actually very good, just very crumbly, like all those memes of like, if you're mad at someone, just open a Nature Valley granola bar on their bed. It's true, right? But these don't really add much for me because even though they're adding protein, it's only 10 grams of protein, and the protein is soy isolate, which I don't prefer. So tell me if anybody has a question. We'll pause to take some more questions, and I'm going to give you kind of my tips around protein bars and collagen protein versus whey protein. Okay, so collagen protein technically doesn't count in your full day's worth of protein. It's a different type of protein. So yes, it helps with hair, skin, and nails, but it wouldn't be counted in your total protein count of the day. So when I talk about 30 grams of protein in the morning, I'm talking about an actual kind of either whey or eggs or meat-based or plant-based protein, not collagen. I know that's something that's confusing, but in general, collagen is more as an accessory, an extra, something you do for your hair, skin, and nails, not something that you would have instead of. Betsy said, I'm not sure if you mentioned this one. What do you think of the Kind breakfast bar with protein? I think I talked about that one. I don't think it's bad. I would say it's in the realm of a 6 or 7 because out of 10. So 10 being like the most amazing protein bar ever, which I will talk about which one's close. And then 0 being piece of crap. A lot of things are piece of crap. But I would say that there is a new protein bar called the David protein bar, which is a little bit better than even the Quest bar because it's got more protein, and I'm not connected to it. They did send me samples to check out. I don't know. I liked it, but I didn't like it enough to switch. I don't always have the Quest. I don't know why. It just happens to be in Walgreens when I went today. Out of the ones that they had, that was the one. But I do like the IQ. That's another one that I often have. I try to go I try not to have a protein bar on a daily basis. This is my trick for protein bars. So, this is the one I really love the most. That's better than the Quest and probably better than David. Is a barbell bar, as a barbell or barbell at Trader Joe's. You can get them. You can get them from the, and they didn't have that at Walgreens, but barbell, Barebells. They have a ton of flavors. They have great texture. They have 20 grams of protein. They don't keep you as full as a Quest bar, but it's so much more delicious that I reach for those a lot. And also, there is one more that I'll share with you. That's also, so this is what I do. I take the Barebells bar and that I think I would put it as a 7.5, whereas the regular Quest I'd put it as a 7. Barebells, what I do is I cut them into thirds, okay? Or you can even just break them into thirds. And I keep it as a snack. I keep it in a little bag, or my family hates it, but I'll just break it off and I'll put it back into a little area that I have in the kitchen. And what I like to do is I like to use them kind of as a dessert, especially like if I'm eating lunch and I want something sweet, or eating dinner and I want something sweet. They make a great kind of after meal sweet. And so I cut them into thirds and then I'll have a little bit at a time. And so that way I'm not getting all those artificial ingredients, but I am getting a little bit of protein with each one, and it's convenient and and it helps, especially when you're having a lot of sugar cravings. I find them to be very, very useful. They're available at Trader Joe's. Again, there's so many out there that I probably missed a lot, but I like those. And breaking them up into small pieces makes you not as likely to eat the whole thing. And the other thing to do if you have a Quest bar is to break it up into thirds and then put it into the air fryer or on the stove or in the microwave for a few seconds, and it becomes almost like a cookie. And again, you can use it in small amounts throughout the day. I would not recommend that you have a protein bar every single day. I don't recommend that. How do I feel about protein shakes, or should you substitute a shake for a bar? Okay, no, I don't. I actually think shakes are a little cleaner than bars in general. I think shakes don't have to use all these binders. A lot of them don't have as many sweeteners. I think shakes are one level higher than bars. However, I don't think shakes are also a good option on a daily basis. I know that goes against what a lot of people think. But my feeling is that if you're in a crunch, rush, there's no way you're going to get your 30 grams of protein. I mean, I'm saying this and I make a protein powder because for me, I don't use the chai protein every day. I use it when I need some protein fast in the afternoon or in the morning, right? So use protein shakes and bars for what I'm telling you they're intended to be. They're intended to be a few times a week, maybe a couple of weeks a week. If you're home all week, you're not going to be using any bars or shakes, right? So eating food-based protein is the ideal way to do it. And then if you're using a supplement, then a protein powder is a great supplement. And then if you're using a second supplement, then a protein bar is a good second supplement. So Tracy says, how do we get your protein powder? Juliana, can you put a link to the chai protein? You guys can try it out. You can see the reviews. Check it out. I kind of made it very clean so that, because I know how you feel. And then, will there be a list of my recommendations? I will share with you a couple of my favorites when I get a chance. Maybe I'll make a summary for you. What balance should there be between grams of protein, fiber, sugar, and calories? Is there a formula? Taste aside. That's a great question, Virginia. Okay, so in general, you want your, this is a great tip. I'm dropping all these. You want the calories, if you take off the 0, so I'll take this, this one, for example. You take the calories and you take off the 0. So this is 410 calories. Take off the 0, so you got 41. Is the protein 41 or above? In this case, no. The protein is 32. So I would say that this is not a great source of protein. Does that make sense? So you take the RX bar, let's do it again, 200 calories, 12 grams of protein. So take off the 0, 20. This is not a good source of protein because 20 is higher than the protein count, which is 12. You take the Quest or the barbell, those are both similar. It's 190 calories. You take off the 0, 19, and the protein is 21. So barely made it, but a pretty good source, of protein, a protein bar. So that is how you're going to calculate. In general, you can calculate that. It's a quick and dirty way of knowing if something is a high protein food because the calories, you take off the 0, and that should match, that should be more than the content of protein in there. So that's what I use. And then there is, so if you go to the fortune cookie, guys, I think Tracy asked about it. You can get that link if you'd like. And then I'm going to ask you for some questions. I'm going to go through some of the questions right now. I agree with all of you. There's almost no bar in there that I would say is a perfect bar. And they're all really crap. I mean, think about it. Wouldn't you rather have a Kit Kat and eggs rather than one of these protein bars? I would. I would rather have a real protein meal and then eat dark chocolate at the end. That's much, much better than any of these bars. In college and med school, this was like my mainstay, was protein bars. So I had to really change my ways. And that's why I feel like I wanted to talk about it with you because I had some thoughts on it. So tell me your questions. If you have a question, please put it in the fire chat, or you can ask me, Juliana, as you see them. And I believe, if somebody wants to be life coach, let's do that. If you're interested in getting life coach, please put your, say, I want to be live coach in that fire app and, the fireside emoji, the fire emoji, and we'll bring you up on stage. So the point of doing live coaching is that if you were like, hey, I really want to get your take on this because I have a special question or something is not working for me, something that you've really wanted to talk to me about, please be in that live chat. You can turn your microphone on, your camera on, and you can interact with me. So I know it's like nice to give your messages here, but it's also nice to be live coach. So Juliana, you can bring up someone if they want to be live coach, or if we don't, I'm going to answer. In the meantime, I'm going to answer Marilyn's question. My good friend has a very heavy periods that go over a week. Do you have any recommendations for that? All right. Couple things. Having heavy periods that last a long time is not normal. Having painful heavy periods in general is not normal. I think we all normalize it because so many of us suffer with it, but so many people are underdiagnosed. There's things like PCOS and endometriosis and just uterine issues that should be checked out. So that's number one. Number two, remember that hormone health and gut health are completely intertwined. So as you notice, I don't know if you've ever noticed this, if you have a month of really poor eating, your periods and your cramps that month are just through the roof because your gut health and your hormone health are intricately intertwined. So I would ask you, if she hasn't already gotten checked, definitely go get a check, because that's number one. Get some blood work, get a full evaluation, and then consider changing your diet, improving your gut health. So improving your gut health means taking out some of those ultra processed food, taking out some of that alcohol, taking out some of that excess sugar, sugary snacks, adding more fiber in, adding more probiotics in, adding more protein in. That is something that can help. You definitely have to have like about 3 cycles to really see if there's a benefit here. And so this is something, I want to show you guys what I'm seeing here. I'm literally stacked, standing here with this. I don't know what I'm going to do with all these protein bars. Like, I am by myself in a hotel room. And I just told you guys that I was doubled over in pain when I was eating protein bars often when I was in training. So I plan to not eat these. I'm not sure what I'm going to do with them. I don't want to throw them away either. Maybe I'll donate them. Maybe I'll give it to the cleaning staff or something, because although they are not great, yeah, snacks for the staff. I think it is snacks for anyone who wants it. So, one thing I didn't rate this one. This little guy here, the Lenny and Larry's chocolate and almond sea salt cookified bar, 12 grams of protein, 170 calories. So take off the 0, you have 17. Still too little because it's only 12 grams of protein. I would say my problem with this, it's actually pretty good. My problem with this is when we go back to the basics, when I told you about the candy bar with the protein shake, I can't get it out of my mind that you'd be better off. This is only 12 grams of protein. It's like a half a protein shake. You'd be better off having a half a protein shake or a bowl, egg scramble, a little bowl of egg scramble, and eating an actual cookie, like for 170 calories, like a little cookie. Like, why not? Right? That's what you should be doing instead of having that. Rebecca's had a good idea. The cleaning staff will love it. That's a good idea. I have to make sure that they know not to throw it away, that they can have it. They're all unopened, so it should be fine. So that is my protein bar review. I would love to take your questions. I'm going to go over it at the end as well. Mary says, is hormonal birth control a positive thing to do for health and hormones, especially in perimenopause? Maybe this won't be an easy question. I feel like we shouldn't mess with our natural hormones, so I opted for the copper IUD. It is so interesting, Mary. I just had this thought also. We are like, everyone on the internet is talking about hormonal therapy. Like, hormone therapy is all the rage right now. Like, everyone is like, take your hormones, do this with hormones. And it's weird because in the younger age group, we kept telling people, don't take hormones, don't take birth control because it could mess with your hormones. And so what I mean to say by that is, like, it's not good or bad. So when you have your normal circulating hormones, probably better off not adding or subtracting. So that's why hormonal birth control can be problematic for some people, although it's still something that I think can be really useful for other people. It's not as bad as people think, but I do agree that hormones, when your hormones are functioning adequately, do not really need to be replaced. If you're having perimenopausal symptoms, hot flashes, night sweats, sleep disturbances, GI issues, fatigue, I mean, there's a whole bunch, especially if you're having night sweats and hot flashes, if your bone density has gone way down, or if you're having lots of vaginal symptoms. Those 3 are clear indicators that you should start hormone therapy. Whereas if you're having some subtle symptoms, you might be able to ride it out. Now, a lot of people do end up going on some kind of hormonal birth control in the perimenopausal range because they're having very heavy or irregular periods. Because remember, perimenopause is like your hormones are going up and down like crazy. And that can lead to really heavy and painful periods. And so hormonal birth control can actually be a really great way of kind of regulating that, if you're looking for some relief from that pain and heavy periods. So just to recap, what I talked about is taking a Bear-Bell bar or a Quest bar, which are probably still only 7s in my book. Bear-Bell might be a 7.5, but really in the Dr. Amy index, the DAI index, you're really not getting way higher than that. And what I would do is I would cut it up into smaller pieces, maybe 3 pieces, keep it as a snack after a meal or when you need a little protein boost. It's also really useful if you want to travel with one of these bars, like to have it as a dessert after you eat something real when you're traveling. So that's kind of my take on protein bars. I'm not a big fan, and I keep saying I went months without having a protein bar, and I felt the best I've ever felt. So I would say for you, do what you need to do, but the less you can rely on powders, shakes, and pills, the better it is for your overall health. And the reason I do these kind of talks on the Fireside Chat, this is our Fireside weekly meeting, is that you probably don't hear a lot about this on the internet. And when I'm on the internet, I'm creating videos that are 30 seconds or maybe 1 minute long at max. And sometimes these nuances or what I really do in my normal life don't necessarily come out. And sometimes you might want to ask me a question like you asked me, what about whey protein versus collagen protein versus soy protein? And those kind of questions are really hard to answer depending on who you are, what your needs are. So I like this forum. And I like this forum because I get to know what exactly you want to know. So if you have more questions, please put them below. Mary says, thank you, very helpful. If anybody wants to come on and ask their question on live, please do so. We have a few minutes to do so. And Rebecca, I don't know the True Bar. What is the True Bar? And then remember that the quick and dirty tip of how to determine if your bar is actually high protein is to take the 0 off of the calories. So if it's 200 calories, you get the number 20, and your protein count should be at least 20. And if it's not, then it's really not going to be worth, meaning that protein level is too low to be considered a high protein food. All right, we have Tiffany says, I have Crohn's disease. I do well with soluble fiber, but not with insoluble. It gives me diarrhea. Should I aim for 30 grams of soluble fiber a day? Yes. So fiber is the most amazing food for your gut bacteria. And so the more fiber in any form, if you want to get it in a soft, soluble just is easier to digest, that will give you better gut microbiome. And, for you, more than anything, a gut microbiome is really important. Very, very important, because I think we tend to really ignore the gut microbiome in America, and we need to be doing more for that. Tracy says, is a private appointment an option? So Tracy, you can email Rachel at AmyMDWellness.com. Sometimes I see right now, life is really crazy. I'm traveling so much. I really don't want to take on a ton of new people, but I do have, like, Rebecca's on the call. There's a couple of people that I've had for years. And once in a while, I will take a new person. So you can look into that if you're interested. I like to use this forum as a forum for me to actually answer a lot of your questions on a weekly basis. If you or someone in your family has wellness, health, nutrition questions, overwhelm, issues, this is the forum that is going to be most affordable, most accessible. I am here every week, and so I'm here for you to answer your questions. So I hope that you will take advantage of this. Any other questions? I know everyone's kind of gearing up for Thanksgiving. What are you guys doing for Thanksgiving? I used to do this thing where I would do a turkey trot in the morning. This is like so funny because it's so typical. I would fast, I would do a turkey trot, and I would try not to eat anything but like nuts until Thanksgiving dinner. And then I would go crazy. And then I would feel sick and I would be bloated and I would feel disgusting the next day. And at some 1 year, I just decided to stop it. The madness. Like, I don't need to earn my calories. I don't need to, yes, turkey trots are fun, but I don't need to do it on that day. It's like crazy. It would be like a million people and you have to wake up super early. I just was like, it's just a normal day. It's it's great, but I don't need to stuff myself. I don't need to starve myself. I don't need to punish myself. I don't need to reward myself. And things got so much better when I stopped doing that. So I urge you, if you're someone like my former self, and I know there's so many people, I feel like Thanksgiving is set up in that way. Just consider maybe just considering it like a normal day and eating normally. I think your body will thank you for it. And it's okay if you have something that you wouldn't normally have, but you don't have to make it like a binge and not binge necessarily, but like a, a you know, punish yourself and then reward yourself kind of scenario. I think I did that for so long and I always just felt awful, no matter what. Even when I was eating it, I would feel awful. And then after I'd feel awful. So I want you to, you don't have to fast all day. You don't. I know I talk a lot about fasting, but you don't have to fast all day. Do what feels healthy for you. So maybe you're having a lighter, high protein breakfast. That's what I do now, like a high protein breakfast, or like a later breakfast if you want. Maybe you go out for a walk or run and then you have a high protein breakfast. And then you have a normal dinner and you have, a little bit of everything, but you don't gorge on it and you don't feel it disgusting. And the next day is not like you have to fast again all day because you feel so bad that you did something that day. So just wanted to throw that out there. That's a personal thing. And then if you have any other questions, we'll answer them for you. Otherwise, I went through all the bars pretty quickly because I guess the worst one, I would say this is the worst. Like, I mean, come on, 400 calories. I would much rather eat a dessert and get 400 calories and then have like something with 30 grams of protein. I actually, I like the Cliff and Cliff Kids as little bars that you can use when you're in a crunch or crushed, but I really don't love the soy protein isolate in these. And the Cliff Kids ones Z bars are a nice treat if your kids are very, very picky about texture and protein bars in general. So that's my take. If you have any more questions, please let me know. If you want to add them in the comments or if you want to put them in the fireside icon, we're happy to answer a couple more questions. We have a few more minutes. And what we'll do is this is all recorded. This will live in the fireside app. If I may even share it to podcasts because I think that this could be valuable information for you to listen to. I don't know if you've listened to my podcast, but I have some good ones in there. I did a nutrition and cancer one last week that I think could be really, really helpful. Trying It All says, how early in the day do you need to get your first 30 grams of protein? That's a great question. You don't need to get it first thing in the morning. You don't have to just roll out of bed and get your 30 grams of protein. I think that's a misnomer. I think you need to have it whenever you're going to have your first meal. Mary says, I love the Championship Statement podcast. I'm so happy about that. Yeah, I love that. I mean, I have to credit Todd Stottlemyre, my good friend, with that, a Championship Statement. It's been a life game changer. For those of you who don't know it, every morning when I wake up, when I'm at home, typically, instead of reaching for my phone, I go to the bathroom, I go brush my teeth, I go outside for a couple of minutes, and then I do this Championship Statement. And what it is a statement of what I want to be in the future. it's as if I've already achieved it. Like I am a best-selling author. I teach, I speak all over the world. I am the leader in gut health, women's health, nutrition. That's literally what I say. And then I'm so energetic. I'm in the best shape of my life. My children, my family are very healthy. I live in a beautiful light home that has light shining in. So I think it's a statement. You can make it as long as short as you want, but it's a really great way to frame your day. And then you can dive into your phone. For me, these days, diving into my phone is like a big disaster because there's all these emails and requests and there's notifications and there's things I need to do and my schedule. And so having that little bit of a slow morning where I can kind of do those things and maybe even work out and then dive into my emails, it just makes my day so much better. So that's what I would recommend. Last question. What are your thoughts on creatine for menopausal women? I like creatine. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm not so good about taking it. I think I just can't figure out how to incorporate it into my day. And I'm just being honest. There's just not enough time in the day to do all the things we want to do. But in general, I'm a fan of the studies, and I think it can be helpful for potential brain health and muscle, especially you need to be working out and pushing weight if you want the benefits of creatine. So that's my thoughts on creatine. So I hope that you'll come to the Fireside classes. I hope that we can have a conversation like, hey, I heard your podcast, wanted to follow up. Hey, I'm having an issue with this. I want some advice. Hey, what do you think about this protein bar that I just tried? Like I've tried almost every single one of them. And so I'm happy to help you with that. And I want to say the goal of this and everything I do is that I was once someone who felt crappy. I hated the person in the mirror. I was so tired. I was bloated. I was moody, hormonal. And I was like, if I am a doctor and a nutrition specialist and I feel this way, I got to figure this out. But as I was figuring it out, I realized that when you fixed your gut health, you start to think better and then you start to see things better, meaning like you start to see things in your life better. Like that person's toxic, that job is toxic, I need to do this in my life or that. And so what ended up happening is I started finding my own gifts by just improving my own nutrition and gut health. And all of a sudden I'm like, I'm not trudging through the days anymore. And now I have all these new ideas of what I want to do with my life and what I want to share with people. And so what I want you to do is I want you to find your gifts. I want you to get so much better. Your gut health gets so much better. Your brain gut connection gets so much improved that you're like, wow, I can start something new, even though people say I'm too old. I can maybe pursue this thing I've always wanted to, or maybe I'm going to have friendships with these new people that I've always admired in so many different ways. And that's the whole point of this. It's like you get so healthy that your mind gets healthy and you start to see things and then you can go live out your gifts. So that is the whole point. And on that, I would like to invite you to the Fireside weekly classes. If you are not already a member, I would like you to join. I would like you to, say hello whenever you can. I would like you to listen to the podcast. I would love to discuss the podcast topics on the show as we go. And I'd love to coach you in any way that you would like, that you see fit. And I'm just so thankful because honestly, although I was joking about traveling and all the stuff, I'm so grateful that I get to do this. I get to do this because of you. I get to do this because I went on this journey and I felt like I had to share. And I get to do this because I want to help people find their own gifts. And that's you. So have a great, wonderful Thursday evening. It is getting dark here in Orlando. And I will, Marilyn said, I love what you stand for and I love gut health. I'm so grateful for you, Marilyn, and for all of you for joining here and online and on podcasts and in person and all of it. So thanks for being here. Take care. Have a great day.